All right, happening now in case you've somehow forgotten. Here is a last-minute warning for all you procrastinators out there.
Yes, today is April 15th, aka Tax Day. So as of right now, you have about 19 or so hours to get those taxes done or file an extension. News 13's David Romero is outside of an H&R Block here in Albuquerque. David, probably going to be a busy place a little bit later on, huh?
Exactly right, Matt. No doubt it will be a busy day, and of course it's a dreaded day for those having to file those returns, give some money back to Uncle Sam, but a welcome one for those getting refunds from the government. And of course, either way, those taxes, if you're filing them today, have to be postmarked by midnight tonight, and that's just actually right before midnight. And of course, the IRS has about 97 million Americans, taxpayers rather, have already taken care of those pesky taxes, and of course the majority of them took care of them online. Now, as for the cash, some will be getting back. The IRS says the average refund is just under $3,000. Now, if for some reason you are not able to file this year's returns today, you can ask the government for an extension. But here's the one thing you must know. You still have to pay something. That's about 90% of an estimate of what you owe. Usually, it's if you don't, otherwise you're going to have to pay some penalties. And your taxes and extension are both due by midnight. Now, another important deadline taking place by today is the government. They said they have about $917 million in unclaimed 2009 refunds. So for somebody that didn't file their returns back in 2009, and if you have money coming to you from them, you need to take care of that by today as well, because the deadline on that also passes at midnight. So some good things and good advice for everybody out there on an important tax day. Matt, back to you.
All right, thank you very much for the information this morning, Mr. Romero. Now here's an interesting stat we dug up on how some people plan to use their refunds. 37% plan to use the cash to lower their debt or pay bills. 28% are just going to blow it, and about 26% probably do the smart thing too and save it. Well, a high school economics teacher will not be in the classroom at Highland High in Albuquerque today.
No, instead he has been suspended because of what the district says he wrote to a student on Facebook. APS tells us the male teacher teaches economics and social studies to upperclassmen. Officials say he wrote something inappropriate on Facebook to a student. Now, the district won't say exactly what that was, but school officials are investigating. The Rio Grande High School wrestling champion accused of roughing up another student and taking his lunch money is once again facing charges. The Sheriff's Department refiled charges against Nick Chavez. The original larceny and battery charges against him had been dismissed last week when the deputy who filed them, as well as the alleged victim and witnesses, all failed to show up for court. The deputy says he was never notified about the court date. Albuquerque Public School District officials suspended Chavez because of the incident, but his family got a lawyer who convinced a judge to let him wrestle in the state tournament, which, by the way, he won.
Well, state police are still looking for this Moriarty city worker accused of raping 3 women. They say that Michael Tapia Jr. raped a woman in early October and 2 more back in 2010. Tapia has been a maintenance worker in Moriarty for about 10 years. He's on paid leave right now, and police think that he could be in Texas. Well, this week, Albuquerque city inspectors are set to meet with the owners of a nightclub in Nob Hill that is now closed for a laundry list of problems.
And neighbors in Nob Hill couldn't be happier about this. We're talking about the Copacabana on Central near Washington. The city shut it down last week after a deadly shooting there. The Safe City Strike Force team says it found a number of building and fire codes, everything from too much trash to electrical problems. And then there's the issue of security and safety.
They're packing a lot of people inside of that building. It's obvious if people are entering that building without guns, I mean with guns, you know, what type of security do they have?
Joe Martinez says the Copacabana's owners will have to make some major changes before it can open up again. Police say she not only helped 2 men make off with a stash of stolen guns, they say she even hid some of the guns in her car within reach from 2 kids. Melissa Villalpando was in court on several counts of receiving a stolen gun. Police say back in November, 2 men, Leon Lowry and James Garcia, broke into a home and stole 9 rifles and a handgun. Police say Garcia's fingerprints showed up at the scene, but that Lowry may have been the mastermind behind the whole operation. Investigators also say that Villalpando may have been romantically involved with Lowry, and they say that she met up with the 2 men and took several of the guns into her car with 2 children present. Villalpando has bonded out of jail. The 2 men are still locked up.
I-40 just west of Albuquerque is back open this morning after it was littered with bad crashes yesterday.
Yeah, and sadly, one of them killed a little boy while his family was rushed to the hospital. State police say it all started when an RV caught fire. That backed up traffic for miles. The people inside got out okay, and right after, sheriff officials say that a car slammed into the back of a semi-truck that had slowed down because of the fire. Now, no one was hurt there.
Then a little after that, about 2 o'clock, investigators say a car tried to go around that crash when a semi-truck barreled into it. That killed a 6-year-old boy and sent Roberto and Victoria Gamboa and 2 other kids all to the hospital. They should all recover.
And to the family, just gives me goosies.
Tough,
Yeah, it's very tough.
Now, investigators say they probably won't file any charges in any of the crashes.
Well, this week we could find out more about the man accused of ripping off a store's rewards program to the tune of more than $250,000.
That is a lot of money, and we have found out that he's the same man who got sued, accused of ripping off a couple in Santa Fe. Federal investigators arrested Matthew Chanin late last week. They say he made up fake reward accounts for Office Mac and then stole more than $250,000 from the store. Plus, DeBrianna Mancini says she hired Chanin to install solar panels on her home in Santa Fe, but that they apparently melted, and then she says that Chanin refused to give her money back.
And instead of using his brains for good, which we all could use on this planet, he's using it to try and rip people off.
Matthew Chanin and his wife are now facing 11 counts of wire fraud. Mancini won her first lawsuit against him, but Chanin filed for bankruptcy, so she'll probably never get her money back.